Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. It was a Sunday when someone shook me awake. I'd been half awake a few times earlier, but always drifted back under. This time, my head felt clearer, and things started to click. Two people were there, Dr. Tom and a nurse, Sarah. Tom explained I'd been in a coma since Wednesday. My brain had swelled up, and they had to take a piece of my skull out to make room or I wouldn't have made it. He then told me I'd been shot in the shoulder at home. I was picking up my little girl, Lily, from the couch when it happened. I just crumpled, and she landed okay on the cushions. My own weight carried me over the back of the couch, and my head slammed into the oak table behind it. Thank God the kids called 911. That's what saved me. The head injury was the worst part. The bullet went right through my shoulder, missing anything vital, though it did nick a vein, causing a lot of bleeding they fixed at the hospital. The main worry was the swelling in my brain, but Tom said things looked good now. He planned to put the skull piece back on Tuesday and was sure I'd be back to normal in a month or two. My wife, Emily, and the kids came in and held my hand, hugging me. I don't remember if we talked before I fell asleep again. Every couple of hours, Sarah the nurse would check on me and give me more pain meds because my head was throbbing, and I really wanted to scratch it. That's when I realized my hands were tied down so I couldn't. Around 4 in the morning, my neighbor across the street, Mike, a hospital tech who ran tests at night, came to see me. He worked the night shift during the week. He told me he heard the fire truck going to my place and ran over when he saw my daughter, Lily, in the street waving them down. He found me in the basement, blood everywhere. My head was pouring blood from the fall. There was so much blood on me they just scooped me up and rushed me to the hospital in the rescue truck. Mike said the basement filled with firefighters in seconds. They were all over, working on me and checking the kids. The kids had so much of my blood on them that the rescuers thought they were hurt too. But they were fine. Mike said Emily passed the rescue truck going the other way, and they had to tell her I'd fallen. Mike's wife, Sue, stayed with the kids while Emily drove to the hospital. It was at the hospital that Emily found out I'd been shot. She was shocked when the doctor told her. No one at the house knew about the shooting. The firefighters thought all the blood on my shirt was from my head wound. All Emily knew was that I'd fallen and hit my head. Within minutes, a cop was there asking her questions. She told him she didn't know anything because she wasn't there. She'd gone shopping. Mike said the cops came back and taped off the house as a crime scene. He told me they had a big truck with crime scene printed on it. Cops went all through the neighborhood until 3 in the morning and then came back at 9 the next day, doing the same thing. When Mike left, my memories started to come back in bits and pieces. Emily had gone shopping, and the kids went down to the basement playroom to watch TV. We have a nice den down there with a walkout and a sliding glass door. It also has a screen door which I'd opened because it was warm. I was watching TV with the kids and then told them it was bedtime. They both pretended to be asleep. So, I reached down to pick up Lily, and I guess that's the last thing I remember. I guess that's when I was shot and dropped her. I kept falling and hit my head on the oak dining table. As I bounced back, I fell on the floor, hitting the back of my head. Monday, a detective named Dave showed up, wanting to ask questions. The doctor asked him to come back Wednesday because they were putting my skull back together the next day. Wednesday, I'd feel better and be more alert. He told the detective I'd probably be released on Friday. When Emily came to the hospital, I told her about Dave, and she said she'd already talked to him a few times. He wanted to know who she thought shot me and who might have it out for me. She told him she didn't know anyone who was my enemy. She thought it could just be a random shooting from a car. Detective Dave told her a random shooting from a car happens at the front of the house, not in the backyard. He said whoever did this wanted me dead, which scared her. I never got a chance to talk to Dave while I was in the hospital. A police officer had been shot, and I guess everyone was out looking for that shooter. I got my skull put back together and was released on Friday. I had to wear a helmet like hockey players do in case I fell. I felt weak, but by Monday, most of my strength was back. Monday, I was home alone. Emily went back to work and the kids went to school. I was looking at the hole in the screen door where the bullet came through. I was trying to figure out where the shooter was standing when I heard the doorbell. I had my small gun tucked in the back of my pants as I looked out the window and saw Detective Dave on my porch. I opened the door and invited him in. He apologized for not seeing me sooner but said he was busy with the officer shooting. We sat and had coffee. So, how's the case coming? I asked. Not too good. The fire rescue messed up our crime scene. Maybe that's good for you, though. They saved your life. Yeah, that's what they do. But I think one of them might have carried off my bullet on their boot or something. Who knows where it is now? Do you know where they shot from? We have a general idea within a few feet anyway. But we don't know what kind of gun it was, and we didn't find any empty bullet shells out there. Well, then it's a revolver, right? Could be a rifle or an automatic and they picked up the shells. Any ideas who it could be? Not so far. That's why I wanted to talk to you. Your wife, Emily, Can't think of anyone who'd want to kill you. I don't think I can either. Anything going on at work? Any trouble with anyone there? Even if it seems small, tell me. Let me think about what's small and unimportant. That's my job. Nothing going on at work. Not even little things? I've been working alone, getting a project ready for a company. I'm not competing for a job with anyone. I just do my work and leave. I don't hang out with them much. Maybe once a month we all go for a beer. We were supposed to go that Friday. No one's stealing at work that I know of, and there's no way I would. I could give you names of people from work, but I don't think it'd help. Your wife gave me the names from work, and I already talked to some of them. What about friends you go out with, drink, and party with? Here's a list your wife gave me. Is anyone missing or anyone we should add? Yeah, couple of names are off the list. Mark and Alan Rivers and Jake and Amy Hart. Can't figure out how she missed them. Makes me wonder. Anyone else? He asked. No, that's it. She didn't miss them. I took them off her list. I wanted to see if you'd add them. Just checking up on you. Well, good. I just couldn't figure out how she forgot them. So, how are you and Emily doing? How long have you two been married? Either of you ever cheat on the other? You know cops always check the spouse on things like this. 14 years this fall. No, neither of us has cheated. Well, you know how husbands and wives have fights now and then that last for a week or a month? No, I don't. I'm not married. Tell me about it. Well, you fight with your wife about something, but after a while, you just make up. Neither of you knows how it started or what it was about. You just know you were mad and didn't want to be the first to give in. Doesn't sound like fun to me. It happens in all marriages. Okay, I'll take your word for it. So, how long has this one been going on? 3 more days, and it'll be a couple of months, I think. A couple of months with no sex. No wonder I don't get married. You sure neither of you has been cheating? I haven't. But you're not sure about her. No, I didn't say that. Her time is always accounted for. No overtime, no weekend work. Nothing. Does she ever go out by herself? No. Well, she goes out once in a while with her girlfriends. Yes, she told me and gave me a list of her girlfriends. Here's the list. Is anyone missing? Wow, 10 names. Yes, 2 names missing. I think she mentioned they went with her. Sarah Adams and Betty White. Guess that's me, always checking on people. Does she have any old boyfriends who live around here or nearby? Or do you know any guys she's been flirting with since you two have been fighting? Well, she's been flirting with all of them since we've been mad at each other. She's trying to piss me off and I do the same with other women. But I don't think it's anyone on the list. You're welcome to check, but I think you'll be wasting your time. What time do they go out and what days? He asked. They only go on Thursday nights. They say it's ladies' night, so free drinks at one place and half price at the other club. But from what I hear, the guys buy the drinks anyway. She said if they stay together as a group, they're safe and they never split up. They go out after 7 or 7:30 and come home around midnight. Detective Dave finished his notes and left. I was making lunch when the doorbell rang. I reached for my gun again as I looked out the window. It was a guy from the store where we bought a new rug and couch for the basement. I told them to carry it around to the back. They took the old, blood-soaked rug and couch out. Then they brought the new ones around and set them up. After they left, I looked at the screen door with the hole. I then checked the circle the cops had drawn where they thought the bullet hit. I sat on the couch, looking out the back window, wondering where the shooter stood. Dave had told me his guess, but the shooter could have been anywhere in the yard. My backyard was 100 feet by 100 feet. So was my neighbor's. There was also a 50-foot strip the town owned for sewer lines between our backyards. So, from house to house, it was over 250 feet. Almost a football field. As I sat there, I realized I hadn't seen the kid, Timmy, who was 15 and lived with his grandma behind us. His parents were split up and didn't want him. He'd been with his grandma for over 5 years. He and his friend Ben, who was 13, were always playing in their backyard. You could always tell the season by what game they were playing. At least there was enough room they couldn't break any windows. Now that I thought about it, I hadn't seen either of them since I got home from the hospital, which was odd. Tuesday, right after Emily left for work, the phone rang. It was Sarah Black from my office, and she laid into me. What the hell did you tell that detective? He interviewed all of us about you. I didn't say anything about anyone at the office. He asked who would want me dead, and I said no one from the office would. That's all I told him about anyone there. Why? What happened? Well, when he interviewed me, I cried thinking about what you and your kids went through. He only talked to me for a few minutes, and I couldn't go on. I don't know, maybe when you cried, he thought you had feelings for me. I don't know what to tell you. Why? What's happening? Well, he's been checking all my friends, hinting that I had feelings for you and maybe we were having an affair. He thinks maybe my husband, Jack, did it to you or that I did it. Geez, Sarah. I'm sorry to drag you and Jack into this, but there's no way I led him to you. I'll try to talk to him, but that might just make him think I have something to hide. I know. I'm just too emotional, I guess. That's what everyone's telling me. Everyone here told him he's way off base and there's nothing there. So, I guess I'm starting to believe them. I'm also starting to feel better. After I hung up and had some coffee, I thought Detective Dave was like a pit bull when it came to investigations. Once he latched onto something, he wouldn't let go. I had to laugh. When something happens to a partner, they always look at the other partner. Well, watch out, Emily. Here comes Detective Dave to bite you in the butt. As I sat there, I wondered what he'd check to see if Emily had anything to do with it. Hell, she was out shopping at the time and I didn't think she could shoot that well. Because I was too close to the kids. She'd never take a chance like that. She might hit one of the kids. I tried to think who the hell it could be. I grabbed a pencil and paper and listed everyone I knew. Then I rated them on who it might be, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the killer or attempted killer. When I was done, I had 60 people on the list and the highest score was a 3 and I had many like that. 3 of the guys on the list were ones I'd beaten badly at golf, and I figured they held a grudge. A couple more were guys I'd borrowed tools from and lost or misplaced them. I looked at the list. It was a waste of time. The only solid possibilities were Emily or some guy she was sleeping with who wanted me out of the way. But the only time she's away from me is when she goes out with her girlfriends. I knew there was no way the other girls would let her mess around. The whole thing was a waste of time. But who the hell was it? The guys get together now and then to go to a sports bar to watch a big game. We also golf or hunt and fish. That's when the girls decided to go out and have fun once in a while. It started when they went to a male strip show. They took a cab and came home at 2 in the morning, and I think all the guys got lucky that night. From then on, they'd go out and have fun. The husbands did set down a few rules. We told them they could dance with guys, but we didn't want any guys sitting at their table or coming home with them. They'd only go with the other girls and come home as a group. We told them we better not get hang-up calls or calls from guys. We also told them not to take drinks from guys unless the waitress brought them straight from the bar. So the guys couldn't mess with their drinks. The women all agreed. So we were all happy. That just left me with the idea of Emily wanting me gone. But I still couldn't believe she had anything to do with it. If it were her, she'd have me taken out away from the house, where the kids wouldn't see it. Then I thought it was some guy who liked her. Some crazy bastard who didn't care about the kids. He wanted me out of the way. Was it because of her going out at night? Or someone from her work? Or just some random crazy person? There are plenty out there. I tried to remember if the detective took a list of people from her work. I just couldn't recall. I wondered when the girls went out, did they just behave? Or did they mess around? I could see them dancing with guys, maybe a guy would touch them a bit. I know she'd come home excited sometimes, wanting sex. Hell, I'd have to follow them sometime when I felt better. Friday afternoon, Detective Dave came to the house. As we sat drinking coffee, he started talking. Well, I talked to the 2 women your wife left off the list. The first one said she stopped going out with them because of how some of the girls were acting. She said too many horny guys were hitting on them, and she didn't see anything good coming of it. So she just quit going. Wow, that surprises me. Emily never said anything happened. She always said they just had a good time. She always said they could handle the guys and they weren't much trouble. Well, the other wife told me some guys got too handsy. Once, she said her drink tasted funny, so she dumped it and got a new one. She also said some guys followed them home one night to see where they lived. That's when she decided not to go anymore. I guess they're having a little more fun than us husbands want them to. Yeah, I talked to the bartender, but it was hard to get information. He wants to protect his customers. He likes the girls to come in. It's good for business. He told me a few of the girls went outside with guys. He didn't know what they did out there, sex, making out, just talking. He's too busy to keep track, but he noticed them a few times. They're all grown women, so it's their choice. He did say he sees lots of used condoms in the parking lot every day. Oh my God. Is my wife one of them? Well, I took pictures of all the women and showed them to the bartender. It seems all of them have gone outside at one time or another with guys. He picked one of the other girls as the one who goes out the most. I had another guy watch them last night because they knew what I looked like. He said he saw one of them actually having sex in the back of a car. I can't give you names. It's not your business. What I want is the guy who shot at you. We talked for about half an hour until Emily was about to come home. Then he left. I had to tell him Emily wanted to stay home with me last night instead of going out. Dave told me not to say anything to Emily until after my case was settled. He wanted me to get her to go out next week so he could see if she met a certain guy or if she was just friendly with all the guys. He also wanted to know what days she went shopping so he could follow her. From what I gathered, his main suspect was Emily. I don't think he himself believed she did it, but maybe the creep she was flirting with did. I remember him saying he checked her work, and that was a dead end. That didn't sound good to me. That just left the night she went out. What the hell would I do if she was cheating? Well, if she was that kind of woman, guess I'd just have to wait and see. I sure hoped she wasn't the one trying to kill me. Saturday morning, Emily went shopping for groceries. In the afternoon, she went out again for clothes for the family while I stayed home with the kids. Each time she left, I saw Dave drive by the house, right behind her. I guess he was waiting down the street, knowing roughly when she'd leave. Both times she was gone for about 3 hours. I didn't think much of it. It seemed routine. She always came back with enough stuff to make it look like she was gone that long. I even checked the receipts to make sure they were for that day. Nothing seemed unusual. We rented a few movies to watch as a family that weekend. I wanted to watch them in the game room, but Emily was afraid to. She still got uneasy when the kids wanted to go down there. She'd try to talk them out of it. During the week, we talked about the shooting when we were alone. I told her it was just a weird thing and wouldn't happen again, but she asked if I really believed that. Why was I carrying a gun? I asked her if she wanted to move. She didn't. She said she had too many friends here, but she didn't want to lose me either. I asked her who she thought shot me, and she agreed it was just a freak thing. She knew no one who'd want to hurt me. We talked some more, but not in much detail. During the week, I wondered how to get her to go out on girls' night, but then she suddenly asked if it was okay for her to go that night. I agreed she needed to get out and relax after the shooting. Well, that was settled, and I didn't have to figure out how to convince her. During the week, I thought about how I was going to tell the other husbands what their wives were doing. I knew from talking to the guys that we all liked the girls going out. The girls seemed more relaxed afterward. We all agreed the sex had gotten better too, but the girls were breaking our rules big time and it had to stop. Maybe it was already too late for some of us. Sitting in the basement game room on different days, I'd see the school bus pick up Timmy and Ben on the next block. It would also drop them off around 2:55 every day they went. I tried to walk up and talk to the boys a few times, but they were always gone by the time I got there. I wondered if Ben's grandma was okay, but I saw her gardening, so I knew she was all right. I guess I'd have to talk to her about the boys if I wanted to know anything. They were always in the backyard 3 or 4 times a week, playing something. Sometimes more, but since I'd been home, they hadn't been out. Now I wondered if they'd gotten in trouble at home or school. I'd always talk to the boys and help them with their bikes and other stuff. I was planning on stopping by the bar the girls went to. I remembered Dave mentioning the bartender's name, so I wondered if I could get any information out of him. I'd go when the girls weren't there during the day. I came up with a plan to make a fake cop ID to show people so I could get more information. With my gun showing, they'd hardly look at the ID and assume it was real. I got on the computer and started making the fake ID. I knew how Dave acted and I figured I could pull it off. I made over 20 IDs and still wasn't happy with any of them. Then I settled on the 15th one. I went to a store and got it laminated. I kept looking at it from different angles. I wasn't really satisfied, but it would have to do. I was going to buy a badge, but Dave never showed me one, just flashed his ID real fast. I stopped at the post office and took down a wanted poster when no one was looking. From there, I went to a video store. I flashed the ID, making sure the guy saw my gun. Then I showed him the poster and asked if he'd seen the guy. He looked at it for a while and said no. Don't think he's ever been in here. I thanked him and got the hell out of there fast. I laughed all the way home. It was the first test of the new ID. Maybe I'd just keep it after all this was over. When I got home, I called Dave to see how Thursday night went. He said she didn't dance with any guys. She did go to the payphone to make some calls, but he didn't think she connected or left a message. He said she called every half hour but didn't talk to anyone. I checked the photos we had and made 4 pictures of girls I knew went to the bar. I cut and pasted them so they looked good enough to show the bartender to get some answers. When I got to the club, I went to the end of the bar, away from the other 3 people. I flashed my gun so the bartender got a good look. Then I showed the ID and asked if he was the night bartender. He turned out to be the owner. He said the night guy wouldn't be in for 2 more hours. I told him I'd be back. He asked for a name, and I gave him Captain Keen. Figured I'd outrank Lieutenant Dave. What the hell, why not? I came back later and Al was already tending bar. Mike yelled from his office that I was the guy looking for him. I reached for my ID and he said he didn't need it. He said I'd scare more people away with it and he didn't want that. We talked for a while and I let him do most of the talking. He said the girls were good for his business. He said he worked on commission and they built it up. He wished they'd come in another night too. Al told me he gets different groups of women all the time, but they usually break up after a while when the husbands or boyfriends end it or the women wise up. I showed him the pictures and he said they were part of the Thursday night group. Thanks for listening. This story isn't over yet, and things are about to get even more intense. Stay tuned for the next part to see what happens next.